Ever walk into a classroom and look at the blackboard and find out that somebody had been writing on it already? Previous teacher had been writing on the board. It was full. You sat down, ready for the course to go on. The first thing the teacher had to do was to clean the board so that there'd be an opportunity to present new information. That's the problem. The problem is that as individuals, we're born, and the moment we're born, that board is starting to get filled up. It gets filled up with ideas, with feelings, with emotions, and in a certain way, at a certain time, we're more living in the past than we are living in the now. Although there's demands to live in the now, what happens is that a lot of those old messages, do this, think this, feel this way, don't ever do that, don't touch that, never reach out to this, go ahead and do that. All those kinds of messages ultimately tell us what to do, how to do, and the fact of the matter is, most of those are in our unconscious. They're below the level of awareness. They're in fact emotions that cause us to live in the past. And you know what? We fight living in the past, and sometimes when we find ourselves in a new relationship, or sometimes when we find ourselves in a situation where things are going well with someone, we're had a great dinner or something like that, we find ourselves living in the moment. And when we live in that moment, then we really start to really feel like we're living. What do we need to do as people to be able to have that experience of now, of living in the moment now? Well, the obvious thing is to figure out some way to clear that blackboard, to clean that off, to move it in such a way that you're able to see, to feel, to think, and to really be in the present with all the nuances, the good news and the bad news. How do you do that? Well, the first thing is to realize, number one, that there is an unconscious, and that in fact that unconscious has the effect and the impact of keeping us someplace other than here and now. When we can do that, and as we start to systematically realize that those messages are there throughout our whole system, then we avail ourselves to the possibility of change. Take a look at some of these images here. White indicates warm, black indicates cool. What you're looking at are messages that come from the past because they are external, naturally emitted infrared radiation patterns that come from our body, that radiate from our body. They reflect our psychophysiological process. They are, in fact, the memories that are stored throughout the entire system. Doesn't it make sense that when you get angry, you have a physiological reaction? Your body reacts. It tells a story about what you feel about that. So what you've learned from the past starts to come out now, and somehow back to that blackboard with all those messages written up there telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and what not to do. So that pre-programming gets in our way. Who do you see now?
I keep me back.
Say it again.
I keep me back.
I'm holding myself back.
I'm holding
and feel what you've
myself.
done. Say what you feel now.
It's more open here, and I think this one open too.
Okay, feel that.
I think I have more space in my chest.
I feel more space in my chest. What we found here by looking at the external, naturally emitted infrared radiation from the surface of his body was that in fact change did take place, measurable, substantive, point-outable change. I have learned over these years is how to see things differently, how to realize that there is access to that blackboard, that there is a way to erase those messages, to clear them away, to get rid of them, to do something different with them. And it is when I realize that, I am making the basic assumption that's so important. Change is possible. If there's anything in my life that I believe in, it is that change is possible. But most people don't really believe that. And so it is in that fact that they don't believe it, that they end up with building the chemistry in our own system that generates the killer on our planet, probably the main killer on our planet. That's called stress. It manifests itself in backaches, low back pain, headaches, even catastrophic disease. We're learning more and more that that's so. And to the extent that's true, we're also learning that there are ways around this process. If we can deal with stress, if we can understand the way to clear that blackboard, to look at it in a different way, if we can learn to do that, then we have control, access, and power over our own life. And we really start to believe a message that a lot of us don't believe, and that is that change is possible. Life is full of all kinds of things. There's always growth around us. There's always something happening where you look and you see and you say, well, here's something right here. I just pulled it off the tree. It's alive, it's health-giving, and it can help me. But one of the things I need to know is how to access those things that give me good messages, health, and new opportunity. Well, part of it has got to do with daring to reach out, just as I did, daring to open up, daring to try to do something in relationship to my environment that says that, in fact, I have a chance to really affect those things around me. I love the idea of having an orange from my own garden. I love that idea. But I equally love the idea that in order to get that, I get to work in my garden. So as I work in the garden, as I work in the garden and do things here, I'm accessing possibilities that relate to here and now, to change. It's wonderful to see the cherry blossoms. It's wonderful to see my peach blossoms over there. It's another thing to have the joy of having that peach and being able to eat it and to appreciate it. So, what's the message? Is this magic? No, it's a plan. It's a plan to make something happen. The plan means investment. The plan means involvement. The plan means commitment. The plan means organize, doing something, and making it happen. This is true. This is good. What makes it even nicer is from my own tree. But the process of life is there to see, to experience, and to enjoy. I'm Dr. Barry Goodfield.